Hey guys, this is me Rachit Jain, and I'm really very excited. I have finally crossed 1000 subscribers, and I will be releasing these videos once I hit 1024 subscribers to the power 10, as it somewhat relates us to the world of competitive programming. So guys, today this is a special video as I'm really happy. Maybe next special video will be on 2048. So today I will be talking about wavelet trees. And if you don't know, also maintain my competitive programming blog where I talk about interesting problems that I have encountered during the contests, and they are really having some good analysis, and they offer great learning. So this is a new data structure that we are going to study today, and if you want to read more on this, you can read it from the paper. And the scenarios that we would be discussing, or the utility for this that we would be discussing today, is so you're having an array A and you're having queries on it. In each query, you are presented a sub array in the form of L to R, from index L to R, and you're interested in finding the number of elements in that sub array that are less than or equal to Y. The second use case for this data structure will be the number of occurrences of some particular element X in the given subarray L to R. And the last one, which is my favorite, is the kth smallest element in the subarray L to R. So once you understand how the wavelet tree works, all the three scenarios are really very easy to implement and really very short. That is the most powerful thing about it. It's really short, simple, beautiful, clean, and yet powerful. So if you want to go ahead and study over here, you can study. The video description contains the link to this blog post, and you can also look at the code for this. I would be sharing that too. So, and if you don't want to just Google up, you can Google my name and wavelet trees. You will come to this link. So guys, let's get started off without wasting more time. So in wavelet tree, you are having a tree, binary tree, which is having nodes. All right. And if I talk about any node, what does it contain? It contains three things. It has an interval, okay? It has an array A of elements, and it has another array B, which is computed on this array. So it is also something. So this node has some array A, which contains the elements. Fine. AI. And low high is basically the range for the elements. So this will be true. And Bi, let's consider Bi. So Bi is basically the number of elements from the first I elements that will go to the left subtree of this current node. So I repeat, you're for every node you're having an interval low to high, you're having an array A, and all its elements are within this interval low to high. The minimum will be low, maximum can be high. You're also having another array small b, where Bi is basically the number of elements from the first I elements that will go to the left subtree. So guys, this is it, and now we will talk about how we are putting elements, how we are filling all these values for each node. So if you consider the root node, it is having all the array elements. So let's say it's having 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, and let's say 2 and 4. Okay, so the low and high values will be for this node 1 comma 5, because the minimum value is 1, max is 5. So what you do is, at each step you find mid as low plus high by 2. Okay, low plus high by 2. So in this case, mid value is 1 plus 5, 6 by 2 is 3. So mid is 3, and now what you do is you make all the elements which are less than equal to mid in the left subtree. So what would be the contents of array for this node? So it's when we are at this node, we take we iterate on the array, and all those elements which are less than or equal to the mid value, they go to left side. So 1 is less than 3, it comes here, 2 comes here, 3 comes here, 3 comes here, 5 goes to right, 2 comes here, 4 goes over here. And what would be b? So 1 goes over here, it's 1, 2 goes to the left, increment the value, 3 goes to the left, increment the value, again 3 goes to the left, increment the value, as first 4 elements are completely going to the left subtree. 5 goes to the right, so keep it 4, 2 goes to the left, increment the value, 4 goes to the right, stay at 5. So this is how b is built. Now you can, again, now the range for the left would be from low to mid, because this is how we have partitioned our array, from low to mid over here and mid plus 1 to high over here. So you have the interval for these nodes, you have the array, you can find b, and recursively you can build the tree. So guys, the height of the tree can be at max of log of max value in the array, because at each step what you are doing is you are dividing the interval in terms of 2, right? This becomes interval again divided by 2, this, so it can be log n, and where n is the maximum value, because in starting this complete range can be at max, the max value of a. So the height is at max this, and let the array elements be n. So the space over at this level is O of n. Here at each level, if you see, the array is basically partitioned into more number of nodes, but at a single level there is always O of n memory, right? Because it's the complete array only, which is of size n. So 1 2 3 3 2 5 4 is taking as much space as the original array A. So at each level collectively they are taking O n space, and total height is, total number of levels can be this. So basically we are having something this much of memory, which is fine. We are having that much memory. Okay, so what next? Yeah, let's straight now jump up to the queries. This information is enough for us to solve the problems in log n. Log n means the height of the tree. So how? Let's say this is the root node, it's having a interval low high, and we are presented with a query. We are interested in finding how many what is the kth smallest element in the interval L to R. So guys, the interval for root node will be 1 to n, right? The elements would be a1, a2, so on up to an, and we will build b depending on, sorry, interval would be 1 to max of a. Now we will find mid, we will construct the tree recursively, hold all those entries which are less than equal to mid over here, greater entries over here. Interval for this is low to mid, for this is mid plus 1 to high. Then find the b array and then recursively do this thing. So that's fine. Now how to solve this query? But so I will find two things. So this is, let's say, L, this is minus 1, this is R, so on. So we are interested in this much portion, right? Now what happens is that, what is BL minus 1 and what is BR? So it's having the left child, it's having the right child. We are partitioning the present array on terms of less than equal to mid and greater than mid. But BL minus 1 is how many entries from the first L minus 1 entries are coming over here, right? And what about BR? BR is how many entries from the first R entries that are coming over here. But are you seeing that what is this? This is exactly those elements from the range L to R that are going left. I repeat, the numbers which will be present in this range are exactly those elements from this range which are going to the left, because BL minus 1 numbers came from this much part, right? And in total from this part we are having BR elements. So the rest of the elements would be coming from this. So this is that thing, and similarly we are going to map such thing over here. So from first L minus 1 elements, BL minus 1 came there. So the remaining, so let this be, let's say X. So these many entries came to the right from the first L minus 1 element. Let me change the color for right hand side. So from first L minus 1 element, these many entries came to the right subtree. Fine. And from the first R elements, how many came to the right subtree? Let that be R minus B of R. Because from first R entries, these many go to left. So remaining came to Y. Remaining came to right. So that is over here. Fine. What next? So you know that these many entries are from the first L minus 1 and these are from the total R. So these are coming from this region. So this region is exactly divided into two parts, two subsequences I should say. The left subsequence which is occurring over here, and the right which is occurring over here. So what I'm doing now is, so how many elements from here went here? So that is simple. B of R minus B of L minus 1. Fine. And the L to R segment in this is now composed as this segment union this segment, right? And what would be the range for this? That will be B of L minus 1 plus 1, which is this, till B of R. And over here it would be from L x plus 1. So that is nothing but L minus B of L minus 1, and Y is R minus B of R. So let me write it in one line. So this was X, this is X plus 1 from where we are interested, and X plus 1 is nothing but L minus B of L minus 1, and till Y we have to go, which is R minus B of R. So guys, this interval is exactly this, and where is the other thing? Yeah, and this interval is exactly this, and union of this is exactly this. So guys, now these are how many elements? So that is total is equal to BR minus BL minus 1. These many elements from this range went to the left side. So if k is less than equal to tot, which is currently the number of elements which went to left side from this range, so we know that our kth smallest is in this. Otherwise, we have to go towards the right. So at every step, we are finding out whether we have to go left or right. That's it, guys. This is the only thing that you have to catch on, and all applications are based on this. So you find out we have to go left over here. So now earlier it was L comma R comma K, but now it will become this L to R has now mapped down to BL minus 1 plus 1 B of R. And guys, you know that all these elements over here would be greater than all these elements over here, right? Any element from this portion would be greater than all the elements of over here. So the kth smallest in this would be the same as kth smallest in this. And if it's not the case, so you have iterated these many numbers, and if you want to go to the right hand side, so if you are going to left, your query changes from LRK to BL minus 1 plus 1 BRK, and you move from your current node to the left node. But what if you have to move to the right node? So you are moving to right node when k is greater than tot. Tot is basically the number of elements which are going to the left subtree from your subarray. So you can query the right node with its range this, which is L minus b of L minus 1, r minus b of r, and now k becomes k minus tot, because these the k smallest in this would be the k minus tot element in this, because tot elements have been already processed in this. I am regretting why I selected such a weird key variable name, total. Yeah. So let me now just walk you through the code for this, and I think we can now simply discuss the other two scenarios in the code only. So guys, yeah. So this is the code with comments. So see over here, kth element from L to R subarray. This is the query. We are presently at the root node. So what we are doing is in left br minus bl minus 1. It is the how many numbers are there in left node. So this is basically that from L to R subarray, how many elements are going to the left subtree. This is in left, and I have stored the new boundaries LB and RB, BL minus 1 and BR, just giving them names. So if k is less than equal to in left, guys, this means you have to go left. So what I'm doing is I'm going to the left subtree and querying the kth smallest element. So I'm calling this function with now L to R becomes LB plus 1 to RB, BL minus 1 plus 1 to RB, and I need the kth smallest. Otherwise, I will go right and I will call L minus LB, R minus RB, and K minus in left. So this is exactly what I have told you in the video, and I hope you have understood it. And let me walk you through the structure also. This is the wavelet tree. So for each node, you are having the low and high. This represents the interval, and you are having pointers for the left and right subtree. And this is the B array. So what you do is you call the constructor wavelet tree. So you scan the array, you call the constructor, you point down the range values a plus 1 to a plus n plus 1 and 1 comma max, which represent the interval for the root node. Then what happens is you are recursively building up the tree over here. So guys, you find the mid value. This is a lambda function. It's nothing but it takes an argument x and returns to 1 or 0 based on whether it's less than equal to mid or not. It's as simple as that. So what I'm doing is I'm allocating space for, because I'm considering array positions from this pointer to this pointer. So here it is. This is building up. So in starting I've pushed 0 and I'm just doing that, filling that bucket B array. So this is same as doing this thing when it was 1 2 3 and let's say 5 4 2. Let's say mid value is 3. So all those entries which are less than equal to 3, we have to push that to left and fill the B array accordingly. Where BI is what? BI is from the first entries, how many entries are going to the left subtree. Yep, that's correct. So in starting I put 0. I'm using one base indexing. So what I'm doing is adding 1 to the previous entry and pushing it back to the vector B. So in B is initially just having single entry 0. Now I'm just adding 1 to the last entry and pushing it back if the current element which I am at is going to the left. So this goes to left, yes. So this goes to left, yes. Last entry is 1, add 1 and push it back. 3 is going to left, yep, add 1, push it back. 5 is not going to left, so just push back, don't add anything and just push back again. 4 again, it stays 3, it adds. So this is what is happening over there. Okay, so once you have once you are ready with your B array, so now what you can do is use the stable partition. This is already built in C++, and you are basically just passing the range which you are at and this lambda function, and what it does is it partitions your array by using on basis of this function, which is x is less than equal to mid value or not. And then what you can do is you can build the left subtree and right subtree recursively. So for left subtree, now we have to consider this also returns the index or the pointer at which the partitioning is happening. So this is similar to quicksort thing, right? So what is happening over here is you are having your array A. So there is some mid value, right? And you have to partition your array, right? I told you this is all less than equal to mid and greater than equal to mid. So that stable partitioning thing is doing that only. So this is from pointer, this is to pointer, and stable partitioning does this thing and returns us this pivot index pointer only. So now you can call the left subtree and the pointer for that would be from to pivot, sorry, from to pivot for left, and for right subtree it would be yup pivot to mid. So this is what's happening from to pivot, pivot to low to mid is the interval for the array elements, and for this is mid plus 1 to high because less than equal to mid are over here. So low to mid, mid plus 1 to high, greater than mid. So guys, I hope you have understood this and let me just walk you through the other two scenarios. So this is the complete code. Here is the initialization building of the tree. Then the now you are seeing so small and it's happening in log and it's so fast, man. I just love this thing. So so we have discussed the kth smallest. I will skip that. Now LT, no, yeah, let's discuss LT. So you're given L to R subarray and how many numbers are there less than or equal to k. So guys, what you can do is what have I done? Yeah, so you are in some node, right? And if the and you know that all its elements are in the range low to high. So if high is only less than equal to k, then all the elements in this node, in this present node, would be less than equal to k. So you simply return the complete size, which is r minus l plus 1. You're looking for this subarray whose size is r minus l plus 1. It means it has r minus l plus 1 elements and all are less than equal to k, so we return it. Otherwise, what we are doing is, again, we are finding this and this. So if high is not less than equal to k, it means that k is between the low and high thing, right? Then what we are doing is just doing the query to the left and right. This is same as segment tree type. So you're querying the left subtree for L. So the subarray L2R maps to LB plus 1. Just a second. Let me go back. So we already discussed, right? LB is B of L minus 1. RB is B of R. And we know that when we are at this node and we are interested in this is the array, we are interested in this subarray. This is completely represented by the union of LB plus 1 to RB, this much, and this much. And what is this? This is L minus LB, R minus RB. So this is what I'm doing. So you were interested in how many elements are less than equal to k, right? From L to R. It's all nodes are having their intervals, right? So what I did was one base case is the low value is only greater than k. So all the elements will be greater than k and we can simply return 0. And other base cases, if high is less than or equal to k, it means that all elements would be less than equal to k. So you can return 0 in this case and return the how many elements are there in the subarray, which is r minus l plus 1. So that's what happening over there. And if it's both these cases are not there, it means that we are having something like this: low highs over here and k is in between that. So what you can do is you can query the number of elements in this and this which are less than equal to k. So that's what I'm doing. I'm querying the left and calling the same function less than or equal to, and I'm calling now L2R maps to LB plus 1 comma RB for the left subtree, and the remaining is mapped in the right subtree from indexes L minus LB to R minus RB. I'm just calling this. So guys, as you can see that this can be more than log n, as you're not just or right, you can both sides. You are going on left as well as on right. But if you view the heuristics which are shown in the paper, it is proven that it's in log n. So I have not read the proof for that, but if you're interested, you can go through the paper. The link is over here. Okay, fine. And the last one is similarly count number of occurrences in the subarray L2R for the number k. So guys, again, it's still the same. So these are the edge cases, base cases. If k is less than low, then no element can be equal to k. And if k is greater than high, again, no element in this node can be equal to k. Otherwise, if low is equal to high, so if this is a leaf node, right? Leaf nodes are having exactly interval size 1. So what I am saying is, sorry man, it's too much overwhelming to explain this after 3 months. Yeah. So array low to high this is for all nodes, right? So similar thing is present for all nodes. But for leaf node, what is happening at each step, you are decreasing the interval size by 2, right? So for leaf nodes, the interval size is exactly same. So I mean low and high are same. So these are leaf nodes and they will be similar copies. All copies will be identical over here with the value low. So if low is high, then simply return the complete subarray because all entries would be equal to k. It's similar to this line over here. We are interested in finding how many elements are less than equal to k, and when high is only less than equal to k, then complete array is less than equal to k. So similarly, when all entries are same, and so we simply return that. Otherwise, what we are doing is, again, if k is less than equal to mid, so we know that we have to just go mid, and if k is greater than mid, so we know that it would be present in the right hand side. No, so what is this is nothing but you are interested in the occurrences of k in this node. You know that all the entries from low to mid are here, from mid plus 1 to high are here. Now if k falls in this range, you cannot have any element from it which can be equal to k, right? So you go over here, and if k is in this range, you know that no entry from here can be equal to k, so you go over here. So this is obviously at max log n, and this is what is happening over here. And and I've already explained this enough times why L2R in this maps down to LB plus 1 to RB for left, and for right it maps down to L minus LB comma R minus RB. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this new data structure. If you are not clear, please watch the video again or read the blog. I have explained it in a very nice manner. And thanks for watching. I'm really excited to see that I have crossed 1,000 subscribers in just 3 weeks. So continue to keep supporting me and let the feedback coming. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy coding. Bye.